All right, everyone, it's time to talk about the idiocy of the far left, which, trust me, at the moment they are overstretching badly. I warned them not to piss off, like, the religious Christians. See, the problem is this. There are two communities in the U.S. which are more highly religious than the others. Hispanics and black people. They are more religious as an aggregate than whites, Asians, and other groups. They don't like it when you behead Jesus statues. Nonetheless, you now have a rash of attacks on Jesus iconography all across the country. Now, the Protestant would say, well, you're not supposed to make a graven image, so it's okay. Those Catholic voters might look askance to when the Virgin Mary gets defaced. They might start thinking there's a problem with far-left rioters in the country, especially since a lot of times that overlaps with inner-city populations anyway. So, link in the description. Sponsored by the DNC, a BLM decapitates another Jesus statue, probably for depicting him as being broadly European. He's not a Yakub Jesus, so it's politically incorrect to them. That's not a good idea. When you get like Sean King and the BLM people calling for the removal of white Jesus and stuff like that, when cancel culture comes for religion is probably the one thing that can show greater fervence and vehemence against perceived wrongs than communism. You know, conservatives in the political sense tend to be very passive and almost cowardly. Like I said, the left goes too far and the conservatives never go far enough. They never impose a mandate once handed it. They're given a foot and they take an inch, whereas the left, they're given a foot and they try to take a yard, and then they step off a cliff, and they're doing that right now. That's what you see with the Jesus statue stuff. When you come for people's religion, it's not going to go over well. Fundamentally, the United States is still a highly religious nation. It is still overwhelmingly Christian. Even liberal Christians do not want you to behead their Jesus statue. When you do this, when you go into some city and you trash the Catholic Church, you behead the Virgin Mary, those congregants, as Catholics, by and large liberal individuals with liberal religious beliefs, even in most minority communities, typically Democrat voters, they start getting pissed off. The problem is that for the last 7 weeks, all we've seen is the Democratic Party whip people into a frenzy and exonerate these as protests. Destroying a statue of Jesus is not a protest. It is vandalism. It is destruction of property. It is not a legitimate, constitutionally protected form of protest in any way, shape, or form. Most of these people are going to understand that. So when they come in for their Sunday service, if they're still having in-person services, because, coronavirus bullshit, unconstitutional lockdowns on religious facilities apply, and they see that the Jesus statue isn't there, and they ask the priest, what happened to Christ? Oh, yeah, some evil people decided to destroy the Jesus statue. Yeah, maybe we'll order another one, and a security camera for the church. Yeah, they destroyed Jesus. Sorry that they beheaded the Virgin Mary. Sorry that they took a sledgehammer to her crotch. Sorry that they defaced the saints. That's going to go over real well. Really, really, really well. It's just like when these people are, increasing, you get shootings and stabbings, literal deaths associated with the rioting mobs in some of these cities, and you still got left-wing politicians supporting them. It's funny, like wasn't it Minneapolis there? Several of their city council members billed the taxpayers for private security during the same period of time they're talking about defunding the police. Again, it's a huge optics fail. The average American doesn't support that. The only thing at this point, by the way, keeping Trump from skyrocketing in the polls, and he's already stabilized, I will analyze that probably tomorrow, the only reason he's not skyrocketing is because of the coronavirus response. If that becomes a non-issue, trust me, the fact that people are rioting and looting is not going to go well for the left. It's always darkest before dawn. The left right now has sorely misjudged the situation. They think that Trump's draconian response with federal buildings and stuff is unpopular, and that's why he's low in the polls. No, it's not, dude. And he's not as low as you think. When you cherry pick your polls and say he's at 35% approval, he's a lame duck, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Even Karl Rove isn't that dumb when it comes to poll analysis. And now you're trying to destroy Jesus. So you're beheading Jesus to own the conservatives. Again, that's going to go over well optically for, and I know that some people will say, I know that this will be in the comment section, never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. I don't consider liberals to be my enemy. I'm warning the liberals that are standing with these people, you've gone nuts. You're destroying the Democratic Party. You've rendered it unable. Most people can't vote for it because it no longer stands for anything good. It only stands for rioting, I guess. Rioting and divisive race-based politics. It would be nice to have a two-party system. I would like to have several people potentially to vote for. Instead, you're leaving me only able to vote for the GOP. Some of the people in the GOP are like religious zealots and crazy. And people I could never support, and none of them are far out enough on guns. But I mean, I have no choice. It's not my natural forte to vote for someone like Donald Trump anyway, with the exception, again, of like guns and taxes and border control. A lot of his views, at least stated, I don't agree with. But the Democrats are 1,000 times worse than anything the GOP in my lifetime has been able to foment. And that's a party that had George W., the head warmonger of all time. The Democrats are worse than W. They're even partnered with W. Look, there's a reason everyone that worked with Bush is trying to get Biden elected. Don't you think maybe Raytheon and Dick Cheney and all these other figures and groups want another war? That's another thing that concerns me. You're a bootlicker. You support the dude who's not starting wars. You're a bootlicker. You support people's ability to walk down the street without getting shot by communists. Come on, dude. Now they're going for religion. That's a very dicey thing to do. That's very thin ice to be walking on and starting to make crackling noises. So if you're a sane leftist or liberal, that's kind of, the former is kind of an oxymoron. You're a sane Democrat rather in the partisan sense. I suggest you get off the ice floe because it's going to float away, leaving you stranded and having to eat each other alive. That's about all. Peace out.